What is good, everyone? We are back, episode 18, Boys Bet Ball. We're thinking of possibly just like pushing it out, not even doing an episode this week because next week is super loaded. World Baseball Classics going on, full play right now. Nothing too interesting, but the knockout rounds are next week. I actually have a special surprise for next week as well, but we'll get into that later. But we wanted to still cover something this week, and of course, UFC's this weekend. You have UFC 326 BMF title fight. You got Max Holloway, defending BMF champ, knocked out Justin Gaethje in UFC 300. One of like the best performances, let alone on a UFC 300 pinnacle event, going up against old school Charles Oliveira. And I have a feeling Spencer and I are going to be on opposite sides of this, but we're going to go through the card. And yeah, anything leading up to that. This week is a recovery week for me. Like the past 2 weeks, I've gotten absolutely smoked in all facets.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably just gonna touch on UFC. I don't know if your boy still watches our our show, but
Tennis,
it's
yeah, you can do some tennis.
yeah, it's the first thousands Masters tournament right in my backyard, Indian Wells in um, Palm Springs, California, and yeah, it's on day three right now. I think round of 64. So what is that? I don't know, 16 players in each men's and women's draw. They get a bye. So we just finished the first round. Today's the second round. Um, and yeah, I was cooking and hit a nice little parlay. Ben Shelton came through, was my last leg. Um, was facing the serve bot, Riley Opleka, and he won the first set. And the first two sets went to a tie break, but he was able to break him in set three and win the match. So tune into that. If you don't have Tennis Channel, I think they're running a promotion for I think $77 for the whole year or for the whole your whole first year. So it's cool. You don't have to watch it, in the middle of the night like the Australian Open. They're going on uh, regular times because it's in California. But yeah, I'm gonna have to roll with my guy Carlos Alcaraz to win it. Hasn't lost this whole season, number one overall. But I definitely Yannick Sinner plays tonight. If you want to catch him, I think it's around 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock California time. It's when it's estimated, but sometimes tennis matches start a little bit later. Um, he's facing kind of this bum, so you
I don't
can
know.
just see.
Center kind of hoed us last time.
He did, but it's the first round. I'll say um, if he loses this match, I will send you. I will buy you lunch, Mike. If he loses in the first round,
Yeah, I don't count on it either. You need to
I don't
bounce
even
back,
think
but
I don't even think you have the option, or if it is on Kalshi, might be like 98%.
yeah, for him just to win.
Yeah, so yeah, tune into that. But yeah, we can jump into UFC. I don't know if you wanted to cover every single fight on the main card, or what did you want to go through?
I mean, we don't have to necessarily do every single fight. I was looking through the card, and obviously, I'm no UFC expert, but I know people like the UFC, and I've actually done pretty well. Granted, that could have been just blind luck of how I've been. I think the last like 3 or 4 UFC like fight weekends, I've gone. Let me check real quick. I've gone 5-1, which is pretty good. So I pick my spots. I don't try to bet every fight just because I don't know like all the fighters and their fighting styles. So I mean, we could just go down the list. I don't know if you. I guess I can share the card real quick since you're on your
Yeah,
phone.
I think I probably only have feedback on like the last three fights.
Yeah. Just pull this up real quick. Share my screen. All right. Yeah, I don't know if we want to start with I thought this we could even start with this fight. The Sumer Daiji. I have no idea how that's a Chinese last name. I'm sure he's like Western Chinese or something because that doesn't look like a Chinese name. I thought this fight was actually just super interesting because we'll start here because it's obviously flyweight, but you look at the not only the height difference but the reach distance between both of these fighters. I've never seen either of these fighters. I might have actually seen Jesus Aguilar fight once, and his name sounds kind of familiar. Also, that's I don't know. That's a pretty common Mexican last name. But I thought this was a very interesting fight, and it's kind of more. Yeah, it's like the last of the early prelims. I just thought it was interesting because of the not only the height difference 5'8" minus 5 or versus 5'4", but the reach. And typically when I'm looking at different fighters, obviously depending on their fighting style, I typically like to factor in reach as like a pretty decent advantage. Typically, if you have better reach, especially if you're more of a boxer instead of a grappler, it plays very much into your advantage. Think of like Sugar Sean, like in his last fight, he had a pretty big reach advantage over what's that Asian guy, uh, and he kind of showed it. Like that's his fighting style, and I would assume this guy's fighting style as well. But it would be interesting to see because 72 might it's like a 10-inch difference. Like 2 inches is pretty big, man, but 10 inches that's like five times that. So I'd be interested to see what the odds are. Unfortunately, I don't know why ESPN doesn't have odds for these fights.
Because they're no
Neither.
longer ESPN bet, so
Yeah,
they're
but they
not really.
typically have like Draft Kings or something. Like even on the app, I don't even think they have the odds anymore. But
Yeah,
uh,
probably just
I
because
don't,
they don't get to broadcast it anymore, and they're salty about it.
that's true. I think it's mainly UFC because if you look at the other sports in the ESPN app, they do have odds. Let me just pull up Picket real quick. Um, let's see if they have this fight. Yeah, Aguilar. So they have the Chinese guy as a around minus 200 favorite, which I mean, not ever seeing either of these fighters fight, but just looking at their stats, obviously it looks like I even wanted to try to pronounce his name. I'll just call him the Chinese guy. Uh, it seems like he's much more of a boxer looking at his stats. He doesn't really take down very much. Like, look at his takedown accuracy, 11%. So he probably doesn't do it that often. Versus the Mexican Aguilar, seems like he probably is more of a grappler. If he's even trying to get in a boxing match with this Chinese guy, like, he's cooked. So, yeah, I would maybe rock with, since this is only 3 fights, I would have to look at his, like, past fighting history. Maybe this Chinese guy knockout, but I think yeah, I can't really see any other way. Maybe this Mexican guy win unless he just submits him.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into the
All right, so
prelims.
yeah, so we're good on that. I just thought that was a super interesting fight, and then this fight as well. I'm gonna rock with my Mongolian brother. This I've seen. I want to say I've seen him fight once, and again, I tend to like the fighters that have typically like a little bit longer reach, and 4 inches would make a difference. Um, and then
Yeah,
age
you,
difference
you
too.
want you want to go ahead and try to say his last name or his name?
Oh shit! All right. I was trying to say his full name. Nyamanjargal Tumendemberel. The
Yeah,
Mongolian guy, I'll call him. Clip that.
NT for short.
NT, my guy NT. I'm looking at the odds for him right now, and dude, he's only minus 154, and obviously Cody Durden, he has way more experience, but I think the young guy, especially in a three round fights, I feel like younger guys typically can have a little bit of the advantage. I would have to look a little more into this, but just first looking at this fight, I would tend to go with the Mongolian guy, my guy NT. And then maybe we can just skip to the fights that you were looking at. So I assume probably looking at. Were you looking at the Brazilians? Did you look at that one?
Uh,
Or
I think it's RoboCop for so RoboCop is Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. I think RoboCop's the favorite.
Yeah, I'll look at the odds real quick.
I feel like I've seen RoboCop fight, but I don't know, just some videos I've watched. I think I'm gonna lean. I think Bruno's the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bruno is plus 145 is what I'm seeing on my numbers. Obviously, my numbers are Texas numbers, so people's might be different.
yeah,
And then Rodriguez is minus 155.
yeah. So I think RoboCop's the more or has the better resume in terms of just overall fighting. Um, they're compatriots fighting each other, both Brazilian. So it'll be interesting who comes out on top. Um, yeah, I would just say I like Bruno, but I wouldn't be surprised if Robo wins.
Yeah, I think just looking at straight stats, like obviously they're both Brazilian, so that I would assume they're pretty confident at grappling. I would tend to just looking at the stats. Like I said, I haven't really looked at their past fights per se, but it seems like Bruno has maybe a little bit more to the advantage. I don't know who he's necessarily fought prior, but you look at his sub average as well as takedown accuracy a little bit lower than Rodriguez, but having a slightly, I mean, the reach difference isn't too bad, 3 inches, but 6'3" versus 5'10", I think that's something to look at. Lower center of gravity could help him grappling wise. Also, the sheer size of Rodriguez could overpower him grappling as well. So I think it would be a really interesting fight. I don't necessarily have a opinion on either one, but maybe I'd say Bruno as well.
Yeah, but I guess the three fights I was looking at are like the last three fights, obviously, because that's how the UFC stacks them. They got my guy Raul
Oh
Rosas Jr. Uh, fighting this old. I think he might be from Cuba. Rob Font, and that one, as you were talking about, interesting tales of the tape. Um, Raul Rojas is 17 years Rob Font's junior.
yeah, that's a
So
big age difference.
it's almost double his age, and it's not a perfect science, but typically when there's a big age gap, you tend to roll with the younger guy just because sports is a young man's game. Rob Front, I think, has lost 3 of his last 5 fights. Um, and Raul Rojas only has one loss. I feel like the UFC is trying to build him up
The younger
to
fighter,
be a star. And you actually get some great odds on him.
minus
Uh,
250. I'm
yeah,
seeing right
minus
now.
250. So I don't know how Mike feels about parlays. Last I know, he doesn't love them, but I would
I
look
like,
to add.
yeah, I like correlated parlays, but I mean, I understand why people do parlays to get slightly better odds, especially if you're probably going to roll the money over anyway.
Yeah. So whether you do it straight up or parlay it into a previous or a future fight, I like Rosas.
Yeah, I do as well.
And his giant nose.
Dude, it's
Uh,
such a big nose, bro.
okay, and then the second to last fight,
This is an interesting fight.
yeah, you
I
got
had a hard time deciphering this one, to be honest.
yeah. I don't know if it's just my a fixation with
The
Brazil or
Brazilians.
Brazilian fighters. But I like my guy Kai, one of the fighting nerds. I didn't check. Do you know if he lost his last fight?
Let me look at his profile real quick.
I
He
think
did
yeah,
lose.
I think almost all the fighting nerds have lost their
Imab.
last fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've just been a big fan of him. I think, like I said, he's a member of the fighting nerds, and I think all of them have had like a loss. RDR, I think he beat Bo Nickel. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, he slept
Which
him, right?
Bo, yeah, TKO. Man, Bo Nickel was freaking good. I remember seeing him some of his early fights in like the prelims of some big UFC events, and dude, that guy was like minus like 2,500 to win his fights. He would just demolish his competition.
Yeah, I think he was somewhat of like one of those like he's still a good fighter, but he won. He said he could out wrestle Cosmon, and you've seen Cosmon
Yeah,
fight.
because he would just wrestle. Like he has a collegiate wrestling background, so he would just out wrestle everyone, and his competition was obviously lower early on. Yeah, you
Yeah,
literally have the highlights of that fight right there.
yeah. And um, what's did Kai get? Kai got finished right in his last fight.
Uh, Let me see. Decision.
Only a decision. Who did he lose to again?
Uh, Imabov, whoever
Oh
that is.
yeah, but that guy's a beast. And RDR, like he's in contention. What division? He fights middleweight, right? Yeah, he's a middleweight fighter because it's the middle. Yeah. So and RDR, what was his last fight?
It makes me click all of it. Allen,
He lost. Oh,
Brendan
Brennan
Allen.
Allen. Yeah, I mean, just basic. Both of them are coming off losses. I feel like the Emaval is a lot better a fighter than Brennan Allen. And I feel like the Fighting Nerds bounce back. I don't know if he finishes him, um, but I like him to win.
Yeah, and just these Brazilians when you know obviously RDR is like way bigger, like stature wise than Cow or Cow. I don't even know what to call him, the Brazilian. Uh, but I don't know necessarily what's the Brazilian guy's fighting style. Is he more boxing or more grappling?
I feel like he'll knock people out, or I feel like I've seen him, or maybe I'm getting him confused with some of his other Fighting Nerd teammates, but I think he tends to knock people out. I don't want to have you click on his profile again, but um, yeah, I just think both of them coming off
Yeah,
losses.
I mean he has a good split of both. I
Yeah,
mean
I think
recently
he can do it
KO.
both.
Let's look at RDR because I'm just thinking like if he's trying to like box RDR like I might be like a little bit difficult versus I mean even RDR dude he submits people too
Yeah, he's
13-0
13
in
and 0 in
submission.
submissions.
Wow, so
So looks like if he loses, it's typically by knockout.
submission, yeah,
So
interesting. Yeah, I want to go with the Brazilian too, but well, yeah, we'll see if on this one. I don't have too much of a preference. Like I said, this is the one I had a little bit of trouble with.
yeah, give me Kai. Give me Kai because kind of rolling with the theme as we get to the main event.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and get to the main event then. Our boy Max Stay Blessed Holloway versus what's Charles' nickname?
Charles Du Bronx Oliveira.
Yeah, whatever that is. All right, I'll let you go first, and then I'll go next. Or do
Yeah,
you want
I
me?
mean, this is Holloway versus Oliveira 2. Their last fight happened at least 10 years ago when they were both kind of coming up in the UFC. Max ended up winning because Charles had an injury to his neck. Uh, that, as well as a couple other fights early in his career, gave him kind of the title of like a quitter when things get tough. And then I think when he had a kid, which a lot of times happens with an athlete, they kind of wake up and, you know, focus on just lock in, as a lot of people just say, would dye his hair. And he became Du Bronx, a light heavyweight champion, defending his title multiple times. Um, it wasn't his last fight, but 2 fights ago, he had a shot to win the title again against the boogeyman Ilya Taporia, and it
Elliott's
uh
too good.
it breaks my
Elliott's beat
heart.
both of them.
It breaks my heart to even think about it. I mean, the way he beat Charles was a lot worse than the way he beat Max. I remember I had over 1.5 rounds and Charles didn't even last half a round. And when he got hit with that left hand, his lights went out. So, but he had a big bounce back win at a UFC fight night in Brazil against Fizev. He submitted him, I think, in the second round. And yeah, Holloway's the favorite with reason. He was able to get to the third round with Taporia. And overall, I feel like if it's a stand up game, he has the advantage. Um, also beat Dustin Poirier in his retirement fight. And he's younger. So Max has a lot of things going for him. But I liked Oliveira somehow against Taporia. That was more blind confidence. Um, I'm gonna pick Charles, man. Like I think Charles is gonna be able to get Max to the ground, and because Max doesn't have the best takedown defense, and he's gonna be able to find a sub. And I'm not gonna say first or second round, or definitely not first round. I could see between 2 and 4. If it goes 5, I feel like they
Max
will just
has the
they'll,
advantage.
they'll just go to a decision.
Yeah, and I think if it goes to decision, I think Max obviously has the in his odds in his favor in that one. And I am on the total opposite side. I am on Max, Dave left, Holloway, my brother from Hawaii. And like you said, I mean, I will say if it becomes a ground battle, Charles has the clear advantage. But I think Max can kind of hold his own on the ground. And then if this turns into a boxing match, yeah, Charles, I think his way is like he's going to have to submit Max. I don't think he can KO Max because if it comes to a KO fight, it's most likely going to be a boxing match. And Max is one of the best boxers in the UFC. So I think Max would win that fight. So I would take either Max straight up by decision or by knockout because Charles has had a history of being knocked out. Granted, one was against Topuria, and Tuporia's a freaking beast, dude. We'll see how he comes back after his whole fiasco with his wife. You can't find your wife in Miami, brother. You can't. But I like Max. I'm rolling with the favorite. What he did with Justin Gaethje, which we saw Justin Gaethje. Granted, no one saw it coming. Completely just dominate Paddy Pembleton to win his interim title. So I'm going with Max right now, and I think the odds are Max is minus 200. So not the best price. So you're going to see a lot of money come on Charles, and actually Spencer knows this guy. Uh, bro, why can't I remember his name? Your brother's old companion. He's coming to watch it at my place. And he's a big Oliveira fan.
Uh
Accountant.
Rogers.
Yeah,
What's his first name?
bro. This is so bad. Hopefully, he doesn't watch this. Ian, my guy Ian.
Yeah, Ian Rogers.
He's like, oh, I can't wait till Oliveira. He's gonna come back, win this title. I'm like, hey man, I'm team Holloway, but it's gonna be a heck of a fight.
All I'm gonna say is the Oliveira hype videos are second to none. The champion has a name, Charles Oliveira. Charlie. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a
Walking
it's a
out.
meg I wouldn't say it's a mega slam, especially how they both fought Taporia, but I gotta roll with my guy. Charles is my guy, and yeah, I'm hoping that he's able to get it done.
I think it's going to just be a really good fight. Those BMF fights are always really good fights. I mean, think about the last one, UFC 300, Gaethje, Max Holloway. Max pretty much he had it in the bag. He didn't have to, but he was like, "Let's go, center of the ring." And I think he'll do something similar if it ends up going to 5 rounds, going the distance. So I'm excited. You know our picks. Remember, stay responsible. Let's win some money because I have to get back. This past couple of weeks have been rough, but I'm kind of crawling my way back, getting my money back.
Yeah, and I see you're rocking the Japan hat. Just a final plug. The road to gold. Team USA has been on an absolute heater. I don't know if it keeps going all the way to the summer with the World Cup, but definitely possible for the World Baseball Classic. They start their pool play tonight against Brazil. Run line
The
is
run line's 9.5, and it's like super juiced. It's like minus 140, like 135.
yeah, and I think total runs is
14 and a half, 13 and a half.
14 and a half. There is interesting rules to be in play. I think mercy rule is 15 after 5, 10 after 7. I saw 9.5. I thought it was insane, but I think
They could beat them like 14-0 or 14-1 or something
yeah,
like that.
they're plus 24 in their last 2 exhibition matches against MLB teams, and Brazil doesn't really have any MLB players. So, doing my research, I feel like 9.5 is the safest because I don't know. I guess 14.5 could still be safe, but if they score 3 runs, then you're screwed.
Either that or you just
So
play the over.
yeah, but some people are saying they don't even know if Brazil's going to score.
Yeah, so you solely might as well just pick the run line then.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play 9.5. I'm gonna tie it to something. Mike loves that. Probably to Yannick Sinner, but and my girl Amanda Anisimova. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I thought about playing it straight up. I don't think I. Maybe I don't know. It's gonna start soon. I just don't want to play it because like I want action. Like that's not the way you should bet. I'm probably not gonna play it. But I could obviously look back on it and like I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just smoke them by 15. It's like 15-0 in the mercy rule. I'm more looking forward to just because there's such a mismatch in pool play where it's like, all right, like maybe more interesting teams will be like the closer and playing level because obviously you have like powerhouses like Japan and the U.S. and the Dominican Republic and Mexico who are gonna like blow teams out of the water just because they have MLB talent on their team compared to these other teams. So I think at least for me, I'm just kind of watching a lot of these games, not really playing a ton of them. And then once it kind of gets to the knockout rounds, that's when it gets a little more interesting. That I'll probably be playing them.
Yeah. So Team Charles this weekend. Hopefully I'm not disappointed next week. But yeah, that's a show for the week.
Yeah, and surprise for next week since World Baseball Classic, they're playing actually um, pool. What is it? Whatever the U.S. is in. Pool, is it pool A or pool B?
I
Might
don't
be
know.
B or C. I can't remember. But they're playing in Houston where the Astros play. I actually got tickets to each quarterfinal game, so I will be there.
There you go.
So unfortunately, Japan's not there. They're playing in freaking Tokyo. I'm not gonna hop on a flight to Tokyo right now, but like the semifinals and the finals are in Miami. And I looked at prices. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I can afford the ones in Houston. They actually weren't too bad.
Yeah. We'll have fun out there. Should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hit up our boy Austin, uh, see what he's up to if he's still around. And I have a couple other friends in Houston too. It's been like a year since I've been out there, but it'll be fun. All right,
For sure.
appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend. It's the freaking weekend. Let's go. Catch y'all later.